Hi everyone. So today we'll be discussing on the topic Sprague Grundy Theorem. Right. So the Sprague Grundy Theorem states that every impartial game under normal play is equivalent to the nim heap or not. Yep. So again, the Sprague Grundy Theorem, what it states that every impartial game under normal play is equivalent to the nim heap. Yep. So you would have heard of nim sort, right? So that's we'll be checking whether it is equivalent to the nim heap or not. Similar to that one. Yep. Each position is not the nim sort, sorry, it's dim sort. Right. So yep, let's move on with the further things actually. Each position is assigned to a Grundy number. Again, each position is assigned a Grundy number, nothing but a minimum exclude value of reachable states. MEX of reachable states is nothing but minimum excluded this one value of reachable states. If XOR of all the Grundy numbers is not equivalent to 0, first player wins, else first player loses. Yep, so this is it for the Sprague Grundy theorem definition part. Now let's move on with the this one algorithm explanation. So this part is very important. Just remember, if XOR of all the Grundy numbers is not equal to 0, then the first player wins, else he loses. Yep, else the second player wins. Right. So this is fine. Now let's move on with the algorithm explanation part. For every state that we are considering nothing but X, we have to compute the Grundy number, right? In such a way, we'll be going with this one. It's kind of formula. G of X is nothing but mix of G of this one next state. So we'll be going with a recursion or we'll recurse this one. Yep. G of X equals mix nothing but mix is nothing but minimum excluded value of G of next states. Yep. The base case is nothing but terminal state that is equivalent to 0, where Grundy is equivalent to 0. For multiple pines, this one XOR, we will be making use of the XOR. All the Grundy numbers, if XOR not equal to 0, then we are at the winning position. If XOR is equivalent to 0, then the second player will be winning. Yep, that's what we will be doing actually. So we have already written the algorithm for the Grundy numbers. Now we are going with the main Sprague Grundy theorem, right? So for that we have to write algorithm. So we have the little idea. Yep. So based on this theorem itself, we have discussed the Grundy numbers algorithm. Now let's try to implement or articulate the same thing in the form of code, whatever we discussed on the algorithm explanation. So this is fine, I believe. First, let's do one thing. So we'll be making use of the DP, right? So first thing, let me go with a static here. So this one will be int and let me go with a DP. So next what we will be doing, let's write the function to compute the Grundy number of state n. So I'll just go with static int. So let me go with a Grundy. So I'll just go with int n. Yep. So within the Grundy, this one within the Grundy method, first thing, let's go with the base case. If there are no stones, then we are at the losing state. In that case, we have to mention Grundy is equivalent to 0. So suppose I can just write the simple if condition. If n equals 0, in simple terms, we have to return 0. So this is fine. Next, if already computed, so this one we had written on the Grundy number, this one, right? Numbers algorithm as well. Same thing. If already computed, then we have to return this one stored value, nothing but we have to memorize as we are making use of the DP, right? So I'll just go with if DP of n is not, sorry, let me go with the variable DP as we have considered the variable name as DP. If it is not equal to -1, in that case, we have to return DP of n, nothing but we are memoizing. We are making use of the recursion, right? Yep. Anyways, we are going with the memoization part here. Next, let's store the reachable Grundy numbers. For that, we'll be making use of the hash set. Yep. So this is fine. Let me go with hash set of integer within the angular brackets. So let me go with set equals new hash set. Yep. We are successfully storing the reachable Grundy numbers within the hash set. After this, we have to check for n greater than or equal to 1, n greater than or equal to 2, and n greater than or equal to 3. So these three things, if we remove one stone, then we'll be computing Grundy of n minus 1. If we are removing 2 stones, then we are computing Grundy of n minus 2. If we are removing 3 stones, then we are computing Grundy of n minus 3. We are going with a memoization, nothing but we'll be making use of the recursion, right? So this is top-down approach. Yep. I can just write it on this way. Yep. If n greater than or equal to 1, as we are making use of the hash set, the variable name is set. I'll just go with a set dot add of Grundy of n minus 1. So this is fine, I believe. Next, let me copy the same thing here. Yep, let me copy the same thing here. Let me paste this one. Again, let me paste this one twice. So if n is greater than or equal to 2, I'll just go with n minus 2. If n is greater than or equal to 3, let me go with n minus 3. So this is fine, I believe. Suppose if we remove 1 stone, then we are computing Grundy of n minus 1. Suppose if we remove 2 stones, we are computing Grundy of n minus 2. Same goes with the 3 as well. If we are removing 3 stones, compute Grundy of n minus 3. Nothing but pure recursion here, right? So next, we need mix, variable mix, because we have to go with a, we have to find the minimum excluded value itself. For that, I'll just go with a mix and let me initialize this one with 0. Finally, we have to find the smallest number which is not in the set, and we have to keep increasing the mix and store the result in the DP and return it. For that, I'll just go with a while loop. So while set dot contains, yep, mix, nothing but the minimum excluded value. Then let me increment the mix here, right? So we have to keep increasing the mix, nothing but the minimum excluded value. Then the final one is we have to store the result in DP and return it. For that, let me go with return DP of n. So let me assign this one to the mix. Yeah, let me assign this one to the mix. So this is fine, I believe. So this is it for the algo. So let me format the code so that the code looks good. Yep. So I'll do one thing. Yeah. You can just look at the code once. Why this kind of, yeah, duplicate code fragment. So this is fine. This is not the error. You can just ignore that. So yeah, this is it for the algo. Now we are left with only one thing, nothing but let's go with a simple example just for the demonstration purpose, right? So let's go with a simple example. Let's consider the file size. Let's go with n equals 4. Previously in the Grundy numbers also we had considered the same example, right? So let's go with n equals 4. Let's create the DP array from 0 to n. So I'll just go with DP equals new int of size. It will be n plus 1 for the safer side. So now let's initialize all the values as -1 as we have not computed yet. So let's initialize all the values as -1. So I'll just go with arrays dot fill of, let me pass the DP variable name here and let me give -1. Yeah, we have initialized all the values as -1. Now we have to compute the Grundy number of n, right? For that, let me consider variable g here, nothing but Grundy. Let me pass the Grundy, this one method name, and let me pass the variable n. So after computing the Grundy number of n, we have to print the Grundy value, nothing but I'll just go with the s out, system out println. So this one will be Grundy value, Grundy value. So this is fine. Plus, let me append the g, right? So after successfully printing the Grundy value, what we have to do, so I'll just go with if Grundy not equal to 0, then we have to go with a winning position, else we have to go with a losing position, right? So if Grundy not equal to 0, then system out println. So let me go with a first layer wins. Yeah, this one. Yeah, else what we have to do, let me do one thing. I'll just go with a system out println again. So I'll just give here second layer wins. Yeah. Yep. We are done with the coding part. So let me format the code so that the code looks good. Now we are done with the coding part as well. Yep. Yeah. So I'm not able to find any typo or the this one, what do we call errors. So before running the code, let's do one thing. Let's dry run the code so that we get to know whatever the code that we have written is correct or not. And also we get to know the output for the example that we have considered, right? So, and later we can come back here and run the code that we have written. Yep. So let's do that. Let's dry run the code. So now let's go with the dry run part. Yep. Let's move on with the dry run part. Just give me a second here. 1 second. Yeah. So here, first thing I have shown you the call stack here. Call stack, we have considered n equals 4, right? So within the code, the example that we have considered is nothing but n equals 4. So first, as we are going with the recursion, the call stack looks like this, right? Grundy of 4, Grundy of 3, 2, 1, then 0. Yep. So then let's move on with the, so we have to compute upward, right? Let's move on with the computation actually. Yep. So initially, Grundy of 0, we have set this one to 0. So we have written the same thing in the code, right? So initially, Grundy of 0 will be 0. And Grundy of 1, we will check whether it is reachable or not. It is reachable to 0. Yeah, it is reachable to the previous value 0. So max becomes 1 here. So max becomes 1. So next we will be moving on with a Grundy of 2. So it is reachable to 2. Now 1 and 0 respectively. Yeah, max 1 and 0 respectively. So I'll write here 1 and 0, and max will be 2 as it is reachable to 2. So we'll write here minimum excluded value is 2. Next, let's move on with a Grundy of 3. Grundy of 3, the reachable are 3 values here in this case. Let me go with 2, 1 as well as 0. Along with the 1 and 0, uh, we are reachable to 2 as well. So max will be 3. Maximum, minimum excluded value becomes 3. Then finally we have Grundy of 4. Nothing but here in this case reachable will be, instead of this one, reachable, this one 210, this time it will be 3, 2 as well as 1. 3, 2 as well as 1. We are excluding 0, right? So we are excluding 0. So max becomes 0. So we have excluded 0, max becomes 0 here, right? So final result is nothing but Grundy of 4 becomes 0. Grundy of 4 becomes 0. So first player loses here, right? So accordingly with the algorithm that we have written, if Grundy of n becomes 0, Grundy of n becomes 0, then what happens? So yeah, Grundy of 4 becomes 0. So quite obviously, accordingly with the algorithm that we have written, so uh, player 1 loses if Grundy of n becomes 0. Yeah, in our case, Grundy of n is nothing but 4. Grundy of 4 is 0. So quite obviously, player 1 loses, and here second player wins. So let me write here second player. Yeah, second player wins. Yeah, this is it for the output part. So this is it for the output part, and yeah, this is it for the output part, and this is it for the dry run part as well. Yep. So accordingly, with the code that we have written, Grundy of n nothing but 4 becomes 0. In this case, instead of the first player, second player wins accordingly with the algorithm that we have written. Yep. Now we have written the code. Yeah, we have written the code. We have we have we had discussed the algorithm. We have written the code. We have dry run the code accordingly with the example that we had considered within the code. That also we have done. We are left with only two things. One is we have to run the code that we have written. If everything goes well and if we get the desired output, then we have to discuss the complexities for the code that we have written. These two things are left. Yep. Let's run the code that we have written first. Let's do that. So I've come to the coding part here. Let's run the code that we have written. Yep. So let me run the code. So here, Grundy value is 0, and we are getting second player wins instead of the first player as the Grundy value is 0, right? So Grundy of 4, I had shown you the same thing while we dry run the code. While we had dry run the code, we had just dry run the code, right? So we got the same value there. Grundy of 4, we got the value 0, and as we got the value 0, quite obviously second player wins here in this case. Yep. So we are getting the correct output, man. Yep. So we are getting the desired output, and we are left with only one thing, nothing but discussing the complexities for the code that we have written. Yep. Let's quickly discuss the complexities for the code that we have written. Let's do that one. Just give me a second here. Yeah. So what would be the time complexity here? 1 second. Did I miss anything? No, right? So what would be the time complexity here? Time complexity would lead to big O of n into m. Yeah. So when I say it's big O of n into m, it is because of states as well as the most. N is nothing but the n states, m is nothing but the m most. Here in our case, m will be 3, right? So we have considered m equals 3. So time complexity would lead to because n into m because of the n states into m moves, right? So and m we have considered 3. And what would be the space complexity? Space complexity would lead to big of n here because of the DP array that we have made use of. Yep, we have went with the DP itself, right? So we made use of the DP array. So overall space complexity had led to big of n. The time complexity and the space complexity for the code that we have written would has led to big of n into m and big of n respectively, right? So this is it for the Sprague Grundy theorem algorithm. Yep, so we have successfully discussed Grundy numbers as well as Sprague Grundy theorem algorithm as well. So this is it for the this one. What do we call? This is it for the 150 algorithms playlist that is required for the this one competitive coding or the competitive programming or the lead code. So whatever you are doing, right? So lead code will not ask that much of this one. These days they are asking as well. Yep. They're going with the complex questions actually when it comes to the fourth question, especially third and fourth these days. Yeah, you can't predict, right? So this is fine. And these are some of the algorithms that is required mainly for the CP, right? So this is fine. Yeah, we are done with the 150 algorithms, man. This is going to be the, I mean, this is the last algorithm that we have discussed actually. It belongs to the this one, number theory algorithms. It's rarely asked, but it is good to know. Yep, Sprague and D, Catalan numbers, they are rarely asked, but it is good to know. Both uses actually DP itself, right? It's the DP optimization technique itself. Most of them advanced or rare algorithms when it comes to convex hull, these kind of algorithms leach out. So these kind of algorithms are used for the DP optimization itself. Leach out tree, whatever we discussed actually, it's an alternative to the convex hull trick, CHT. Yep. So that also uses DP itself. Whereas it's a DP optimization trick itself, right? And CHT also, CHT nothing but the convex hull trick. That is also what do we call DP optimization trick itself, right? Technique you can call DP optimization technique itself, right? When you need the extreme or the intense optimization, you can just go with a convex hull trick, yep, or the CHT, however you call it, yep. So we are done with this particular algo. Next, I haven't thought of anything for now. I'll just we are done with this playlist. Further, I don't know what I'll be doing actually. I don't have any idea. I'll just take a long break. Let's see what we can do further. So for now, this is it actually. We are done with this particular playlist and we are done with all the algorithms. Yep, so that I wanted to discuss mainly. As I had said, we'll be discussing 150 algorithms in Java by making use of the Java programming language. So today we are done with all the algorithms. Yeah. So I have cleaned this one, what have organized in a good way. In the playlist, you can just check all the playlists, right? We started with the array-based algorithms, I believe. So we ended with this one, advanced or the rare algorithms. We have discussed many algorithms. Yeah, 150 is not a small number actually. It's a big number. We have discussed most of the algorithms. Yeah, that's it. So next, let's see what we'll be doing next. For now, I'm not thinking of doing anything. I don't have any idea currently. So let's see. For now, let me finish with this actually with this particular algorithm. Yeah. For now.